Hi, this is Deborah Tutnauer again with Deborah Tutnauer Transformational Success Coaching, and here we are today continuing our series about coaching and charging what you are worth in your coaching practice. So in the last two videos I've touched on a few different aspects. I'd like to pick up on one of them today, and that is the brain message that comes back to you when you communicate with someone else a price and thus a value of your services that is less than. So I know I'm having you do some writing. If you've been following along with the last two videos, I know I've been having you do some writing talking about the value that you bring to your audience, the value that you bring to your clients. What is the meaning of that in their life? And in the next video, we're going to dive really deeply into that. But before we do, I want to talk about this little side piece because I think it's a piece that is very, very, very powerful, and yet probably not many people pay that much attention to. We know, or I hope you know, that self-talk, thoughts are things. Thus, the way that you talk to yourself, the messages that you give to your own brain, are taken in and energetically resonate within your brain, within your cells, within your energy field. And thus, when you say to someone, I'm charging X, and that's an undervalue of the outcome of your services. At the same time as you're giving a series of messages to that person, to that client, you're also giving a series of messages to your own brain and reinforcing the belief that you have that your services, your coaching, is only worth a certain value. So I went around in a big circle, but let's break this down, because what it is a big circle, right? It's a reinforcement of an erroneous belief system. And every time you reinforce this erroneous belief system, you believe it more and more, thus it gets harder and harder to break that pattern. Thoughts are things, right? Beliefs come based on your filter, based on your perception that comes from the story, the baggage, the information, the experiences, the things your parents told you, the things your teachers told you that you've been carrying around for a really long time. You can't necessarily see that filter unless you take some time to work on that. That's what we do in my Stories Transformation coaching workshop, is we find that filter. We actually look at it. That's another story. Anyway, you don't necessarily see your filter, yet you are seeing the world through your filter. And then how you see the world and then what you do with that perception, you then bring back to yourself, thus reinforcing the same filter. So, as we continue to work through an understanding of self-worth, an understanding of value, and an understanding of pricing in your coaching practice, I want you to be exquisitely aware that the reason that we're doing this is not just about making a good living. It's not just about communicating to your clients the vast value of what you are bringing to the table for them. It's not just about not undervaluing. It is also about breaking a cycle of a continuous erroneous message to yourself about how good you are, about how much you're worth. Right? So it's the chicken and the egg thing. Where is it that you start? If you keep telling yourself you're only worth, I'm going to throw out something. Let's say you're charging $100 an hour for your services, which if you're a skilled coach, if you've been doing this for a while, if you're not a stark raving beginner, and you're doing some good work, particularly in the business realm, particularly with people who are pretty steady on their feet, but maybe working on some bigger issues, it's kind of low, right? It's low. As long as you continue to do that, you're giving an energetic message that that value is all the value that you've got. You're giving it to them, you're giving it to yourself, you're reinforcing that that's the value of what you do. If you were to take a look, what I do is worth $500 an hour in the outcome that I produce or inspire for
my clients. Over time, you'll create a massive shift energetically in your own belief system of what your services are worth. And just a little star, a little asterisk, I don't actually believe in charging by the hour, and we can talk about that as well. I actually believe in creating a signature program with a few different choices for your prospective clients, and having them work within a program that has a structure, that has some bullet points of what you're going to do, that has an outcome, and that has a price for the program. And if you'd like to learn more about that, definitely reach out to me for a vision session, complimentary, and we can talk about how you can create a signature success program out of what you're already doing. But that's another story too. Gosh, I'm just full of ideas today. Anyway, it's super important for that feedback loop. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to end today with a story. Super quick, because this is longer than my usual videos. About a year ago, I insanely upped my rates. And I did it that. I've been thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. I'd worked with a coach who was inspiring me. And then I had a situation where I met someone, a prospective client. I knew the situation. As I was talking, I was in a social event, I was aware of him and the surrounding people and the way that they were listening and the questions that I was getting. And all of a sudden this light bulb went on in my mind, and I knew that not only was this particular type of group of people my true target audience for my message, but that if I were to even hint at the the lower than expected prices that this particular group would want to hear, they would not value my services and the depth of change that I in fact could guide them to, with a guarantee. I do give that. So the number I stated was really high. And it was accepted without the blink of an eye. And ever since that moment, that is my fee structure for my 60-day Transmute and Transform program. And when I think of that program with a lesser number on it, it doesn't even seem like it's in the same language anymore. I have absorbed, my cellular energy has shifted, and it's correct. It is the way that it is, and it's super comfortable at this point in time. But it took something to make that shift. I talk with my hands a lot, don't I? So I'm asking you, go back to that notebook, write down maybe what you charge now, put an extra 0 on it, or put a 1 in front of it. Practice that. See how that feels to you. See if you can start to accommodate that. As long as you can back it up with the value that is being received, chances are, when you add that 0 at the end, or you add that 1 at the beginning, chances are you're now in the ballpark of the true value on that number scale called money of what you're really offering. Again, this is Deborah Tutnauer, Transformational Success Coach. Please click the link and subscribe. We're right in the middle of a series all around this same topic.
And also, if you'd like to have a complimentary vision session, click that link as well. Fill out the application, and we'll get going with that as well. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.